You all know, if you've been here before, that I love to show this picture for this topic. The claw! I have been chosen! So that's how it feels sometimes, right? Why is one kid identified as gifted and you might have another very high achieving scholar in your classroom who is not identified, maybe not even in academic enrichment? What is going on? First off, I want you to know, I want to reassure you, I'm not just making it up and choosing kids willy-nilly. There is a very clear protocol for how scholars are identified by the state of South Carolina. I didn't make it up. It goes way back beyond me. So I would like to unpack that for you so that everyone can kind of know what data points are being looked at and what the different data points mean. For this explanation, I would like to have you put yourself in the old gymnasium. You know, whatever it was from your history, that gymnasium that had the basketball goals where they could push a special button or use a specialty key and it would come down from the ceiling, right? We're going to use a basketball goal analogy for this explanation. So here we are. We are now in this old school gymnasium and our back is to a wall, okay? To your left is a wall we are going to call wall A. In front of you is a wall we will call wall B. To your right is a wall we call wall C. Each of those walls has at least one basketball goal. Okay. And I'll explain what the basketball goals are. But every time a basketball goal drops down, that is representing a testing window. Okay. In order to get identified by the state of South Carolina as a gifted and talented scholar, a scholar needs to hit 2 of 3 possible basketball goals. And you've got to hit either A and B, or B and C, or A and C. You have to hit 2 of any of the 3 walls to get identified. Now, there is one special exception. Do you see right up there in that top corner the emoji that's going, ooh? That is a specialty case, and we will talk about that next. First, I would like to explain what Wall A is. Wall A here at Liberty is really one basketball goal at this time. That basketball goal is what we call the COGAT. That's Cognitive Abilities Test. Second grade scholars take the COGAT in October as a universal screener. So the State Department wants every kid in second grade to take the COGAT. It has 3 sections. Let's look at this slideshow with me. It's got 3 elements: the quantitative, think numbers, quantify. We've got verbal, vocabulary, language, and then nonverbal. And the nonverbal test is that visual spatial reasoning, pictorial analogies. We could expand upon it privately if you are curious. So in order to hit a qualifying goal, the scholars get these 3 basketballs, and so on the 3 different days of COGAT, they are shooting a shot. So they're going to shoot a shot at quantitative, different day, shoot a shot at the verbal, and the third day, shoot a shot at nonverbal. If their basket goes in, that means that they hit, well, they're all going in, but if it rings the bell to hit a qualifying score, that means that they got a 93rd percentile or above on that subtest, okay, one of the 3. And that would be ringing a bell on wall A. Ding, 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 ding. The only side thing I should let you know is that there is a way for a scholar to walk, breeze, fly, if you will, right into gifted status, which is if of their 3 balls, their average VQN, meaning verbal, quantitative, and nonverbal score, hits 96 percentile or above. And we have had scholars do that before. So between all 3 baskets, the average was 96 percentile or above. Then they are just gifted by the state of South Carolina. That's the only way you could walk right through the door. Otherwise, you need to hit 1 qualifying subtest. And then that means you're going to have to hit a qualifier on wall B or wall C. All right, let's talk about Wall B. So now we're facing Wall B, and it's got a lot of basketball goals. And they come down at different parts of the year. The first time that they get to try a basket on Wall B is the map test, because Wall B is all about achievement. So think map test, Iowa, which is what second grade scholars take. And then we've also got SC Ready. Those are our three big basketball goal opportunities. If a scholar hits a qualifying score, meaning a 94th percentile or above on any of those three, that's when they hit a qualifying ding, 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 ding with their basket. It could be on math or reading. Language does not count toward GT qualifications. Just put that in your hat because I learned that one. All right, and then the third wall is a very special wall, and you only get to hold a ball and try a basket for Wall C if you have already rung a bell on Wall A or Wall B. So if you hit a qualifying score on the COGAT, but you have not yet hit a qualifying score on MAP, then come late February, you will go with Mrs. Ray to take Dimension C testing, which for us is called the Performance Task Assessment. They may be changing it following this year, but for this year, it is the Performance Task Assessment, and it has two subtests. One is the verbal, and the other is the nonverbal. And this is an opportunity for scholars who may not typically perform on a traditional test to have more of a performance task. The quick way that I can safely describe it without sharing too much about a test, I liken it to kind of old school tests where it's in a book like an AP US history test, and you've got to just take in whatever the test has you do, put your brain into that book, close the book, it gets sent off, and someone in a mystery room somewhere using a mystery rubric is going to grade it. And then it takes time for those tests to come back. So we don't receive the scores until really a couple months after they take the test. So those are the pathways for gifted identification. You can hit a qualifier on A and B, or B and C, or A and C, but you only get to try the performance task assessment if you have already hit a qualifying score on either Wall A or Wall B, so that COGAT or the achievement test. All right, you might have some questions for me, so at this moment, take a break and send me a message.